Welcome back to The Takeout. New polling reveals that Trump voters are feeling a little uneasy about the state of the economy and affordability. Here, on that topic, is what the president said Tuesday.
There's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. They just say it. Affordability.
Joel, it doesn't mean anything to anybody, and you guys invented it. Did you?
Maybe. You know who he sounds like, actually? I don't know if he'll take this as a compliment. He sounds like Joe Biden. Sounds like his predecessor.
Oh, I'm sure he'll take it as a compliment.
Didn't we just spend the last 4 years with the president, allegedly, who spent all of his time convincing the public that the economy wasn't what they were experiencing it to be? I think if Donald Trump and his team thinks that this is going to age well, it's not. The American people don't like being told what the economy is. They actually like to see people who acknowledge what their reality is and address that.
Actually, the underlying point the president is trying to make, and there is a little gnat that has been flying around this set all evening, and I'm going to try to catch it before the show is over, ladies and gentlemen. But if I don't, and I do this, that's what it's about. The president's underlying point is inflation was much higher in the Biden years. It has, by comparison, been tamed to 2.5% to 3%. Not great, but not as bad as 9%. And he ought to get some credit for that, and he's frustrated that he hasn't.
Look, when you're explaining, there's a problem. So the bottom line...
When you're explaining, you're losing. That's the iron rule of politics.
Exactly. And so this is going to be our biggest issue going to the midterms. And there has been policies in place that especially will go into effect in
Next
January
year.
with the big beautiful bill, and we have no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. The key is by July, will my family in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania feel like their beef prices are down, that their daily living's down, and that's what people vote on. So we need to make sure as Republicans that what's happening with the economy on the broader scale, especially with the stock market, it's doing very well. But are you feeling it at home? And that's going to be our biggest issues.
And Ashley, if you were...
Gas is good, though.
Ashley, if you were a Democrat, would you cut an ad with that soundbite for the president? Affordability, nobody even knows what it means?
No, there's like 1 million ads made right now. Yes, yeah.
Against the Republicans and against Trump on that.
Totally, no, yeah, for Democrats.
The problem for Republicans is no relief is coming. Donald Trump is not backing off of his tariff war, which is going to make things worse. He's not backing off of his immigration regime, which is going to make things worse and more
Why do you think it's going to make things worse economically?
Well, obviously, businesses. Go talk to a business leader. Go talk to our friends at the Chamber of Commerce. Do they like having lots of labor that supports key industries being targeted by this immigration regime that doesn't make any sense? No, they don't. And it's hurting the economy along with his tariff regime and his mismanagement of the economy more broadly.
Can I just say one thing? I do think some of the policies as a fiscal conservative that long term, they're going to be good for growth. But I think the issue for the midterms, if we're just talking pure politics, it's going to be difficult for November. And that's fine. Listen, I don't believe one way or the other that any party, Democrats or Republicans, all three should be in charge. I think we'll keep the Senate, and I think we'll probably lose the House. And like divided government's just fine.
I'm with it.
Okay, Joel, I know that you feel that there has been an effort within this Trump Justice Department to weaponize things against perceived opponents. But Henry Cuellar was pardoned by the president yesterday, member of the House Democratic Caucus. He was on Fox News with Brett Baier yesterday and was asked this question and gave this answer. Let's listen.
I would tell you also, I did speak against the Biden administration about open borders. My district didn't like it.
And you think that's what this was about?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was weaponized.
His point was that he and his wife were indicted on bribery charges as well as other federal charges under the Biden Justice Department simply because they disagreed on a policy matter.
That's hogwash. And I think Henry Cuellar knows that. Good for him. He has a president that has the same problems that he has. He operates in a way that's dishonest. Just like Donald Trump has been accused of operating in a way that's dishonest. And so Donald Trump sees the enemy of my enemy as my friend. And so he decided to bring Henry Cuellar into this so that he could say that there's a bipartisan effort to go after people who've been targeted by the DOJ in the past. This is not about the merits of the Henry Cuellar case. Donald Trump doesn't know the merits of the Henry Cuellar case.
Ashley, you talked about affordability as a potential Achilles heel for Republicans next year. Related to that is what may or may not happen with extended and enhanced Obamacare tax credits, which expire at the end of this month. Josh Gottheimer, a Democrat, was talking about this. Let's listen.
Having access to health care can literally mean the difference, as you know, between life and death. The House and Senate must work together to see this through. Time is ticking. Time's not on our side. But we know that if we work together, and we'll sit down with anybody, the president, our leadership, anybody you want, we'll sit down with to get something done.
The reason I put that soundbite forward is because today the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, said something interesting is going to happen next week, that there's all these conversations going on, and they're going to roll something out. What does that tell you?
I was very surprised so I've been watching the Congressman Fitzpatrick deal that he's kind of imploded. Brian Fitzpatrick,
trying to put it together.
Pennsylvania, one of my guys. But because he's working with the White House behind the scenes, he's working with some of the moderates, Republicans and Democrats in the Senate. I'm watching to see what comes out of that package, but I was surprised this afternoon that the Speaker
Mike
said
Johnson has not sounded that bullish or that leaning forward at all.
Correct.
And suddenly he's like, next week, stay tuned.
He's getting a lot of pressure for that vote because not just moderate districts, but conservative districts too. Do I think that COVID spending should go away in regards to the ACA benefits? Yes. However, so many people have depended on this. It's very, very hard to do, and I have that.
And Joel, the reason I bring up the House Speaker is because he called the White House last week and told them to stop a rollout of something that they were going to put forward.
Bottom line here, the benefit of the doubt that Republicans believe they have on the economy and on immigration, they don't have on health care. The American people don't believe they care about it. They don't trust them on the issue. And they have seen for the last 15 years, they have been trying to systematically take out the Affordable Care Act. Since I was there with Harry Reid actually passing the ACA, they've been trying to undercut it, make it less strong, make it less effective. The American people don't believe that they care about it, and that's the issue that they have on the issue.
We'll see what happens next week. Joel Payne, you get the last word. Ashley Davis. Ashley Davis, thank you so much. I was distracted by the gnat. It happens all the time.
I just wanted to get the last word.
I know,
That's fine, Joel.
Joel gets it.